Hi guys, Janos here. In this video I want to show you how to connect your Blackmagic camera to a computer monitor without using a capture card or a Camlink Pro. Let's jump right into it. Alrighty. Now if you try to connect your camera via HDMI to a computer monitor, you probably got a message like this. And this happens because your computer monitor wants a signal at least at 50 or 60 Hertz. So in regards to the camera, 50 or 60 Hertz are equivalent to the frame rate. So what you need to do is you need to set your frame rate to 50 or 60, and then you should have an image on your screen as well as on the computer display. The thing here is, of course, who wants to record at 50 or 60 frames per second, right? But there is a method with a few quirks that allows you to do that. And we're using the high frame rate settings on the camera itself for that. So if you already know what the off-speed frame rate does in the Blackmagic cameras, you can jump right away to the next chapter. Otherwise, just stay tuned. Alrighty, let's have a quick look at the high frame rate settings for the Blackmagic camera. On your recording tab, you can set your project frame rate, but you can also set an off-speed frame rate. The off-speed frame rate itself is triggered via the HFR high frame rate button. And what this does is it creates a timeline frame rate, which is set by the project frame rate, and then you can specify any other frame rate that is played over the frame rate specified in the project frame rate. And this is usually used for slow motion. So you set your project frame rate to like, I don't know, 24 or 25, depending on where you are. And you set your off-speed frame rate to double that. So if you play that back, it will play in slow motion immediately. This also has the advantage if you import the clip into DaVinci or Premiere Pro. It already is slow motion. So all you need to do is set up your 25 frames or 24 frames timeline, import the clip, and you're ready to have a slow motion clip. But, and this is the really handy part in this, you can, of course, also change the values. So the off-speed frame rate doesn't have to be higher than the project frame rate. So in our case, if we want the Blackmagic image to be viewed on a monitor, on a computer monitor, you need to set the project frame rate to at least 50. In my region, it's 50 or 60. And then we do a little trick. We set the off-speed frame rate to whatever we want to shoot in. So in my case, 25 frames per second. And that way we can observe the footage on the monitor display while recording in the desired frame rate. Before we jump into this topic, I just wanted to show you that it actually works. And you can see in the upper left corner the actual footage from my Pocket 6K. And in the right corner you can see just an iPhone filming my pretty old screen that I basically only use to for the exact same purpose, that I can see what I'm doing, that I get the framing right and the focus and so on. And yes, it works perfectly for that purpose. So now, as promised, let's get to the quirks. Let's start with number one. When you import your clips into your NLE, like Premiere Pro or DaVinci, You want to make sure that your timeline is set to 25 frames, or your timeline should be the same frame rate as your actual recordings, right? So don't use 50 or something, just use, in my case it was 25, so the frame rate you were recording in. Now when it comes to importing clips or dragging clips into your timeline, there are two ways you can do this. I'm going to show this in Premiere Pro real quick, but later on I'm also going to show this in DaVinci. Alright, you have the option to just simply drag and drop your clip onto the timeline. Keep existing settings, very important. Now if you play this one back, hi guys, Janos here. In this video you see that it is double the speed, right? Audio, on the other hand, is at the correct speed. So possibility number one, you unlink audio and video, and you just change the speed of your video clip to 50%. And that way audio will be fine. And right where audio stops, the video also stops, and you can simply cut and take this off. This is option number one. Let's get to option number two. And that is, you find your clips in your project and you can select a single clip or multiple clips. And when you right click on a clip and you go to modify, you can actually interpret the footage. So here you can choose, assume this frame rate 25 in my case, hit OK. And now when you drag and drop a clip into the timeline, it will have the right speed image-wise, but the audio is too slow. So again, you need to unlink and change the speed of the audio, this time double the speed, 200, and you end up basically with the same thing. So yeah, it's up to you which way you prefer, but yeah, keep that in mind. So in DaVinci it is almost everything the same. Just make sure your project settings are set to 25 frames or the frame rate you want to record in. And when you import your media, don't change. And from here it's basically the same thing. You can go exactly the same way as in Premiere Pro. Drag your clip into the timeline and change the speed of the clip itself. Or again, just select one or multiple clips, right click, go to clip attributes, and from here you select the frame rate you recorded at, and this is in my case again 25. Hit OK. You can click and drag this. And this way it works just fine as in Premiere Pro. Alright, quirk number 2. This method works the same as slow motion, just the other way around. So if you watch a clip within the camera, then it will play back double the speed. So if you rely on watching the clip back on set or with other people around, then this might not be the method for you. The way I use it is whenever I need to film myself, or if I'm the only one filming and I can't watch the back of the camera or it's just too far away, to see the 5-inch, 7-inch monitor, whatever, then I can connect a bigger screen, bigger display, and make sure the framing is right and the focus is right. So for me, this works pretty good. I don't mind that the playback is double the speed. I know how I deal with this in post-production. And also for this method, I really like the app Bluetooth Plus. This allows you to remote control your camera. And in my case, it does everything. So you can, for example, change the false colors. You can watch your focus assist. You can change the focus in the newest update of this app. You can set your white balance and basically everything. So basically very useful if you are alone and you want to film yourself. For anyone else, or if you don't like this, I really recommend buying a capture card. The one I got is an Elgato HD60S Plus. This works really great, and if you have a laptop with you or something, you just need the capture card and you don't need a 50 or 60 FPS timeline for that. You just set up OBS or even QuickTime and you're basically good to go. But before I bought one of these, I used this setup quite a bit, and actually I'm using it right now, as you can see. It's very easy and I really don't mind that the playback is faster. And also keep in mind that you're not recording in 50 FPS, you're recording in 25 or 30. So the data rate is not doubling, okay? Other than in slow-mo, where you actually double your frame rate and the disk space you need. In this case, you don't. You don't skip frames or have any trouble with that. It works really like a charm. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you found it useful. If so, leave a like, and I see you in the next one.